to flip your question around a little bit, the harsh environment that we had, there is a plus there. And it's that those protocols that have proven themselves, that have been battle tested, can now be leveraged in a way by larger clients, by big institutions, by power users in a way that they maybe wouldn't have before, because the proof is evident in the history of the protocol. And so you look at Hedera as an example, right? There's no sanctions risk. There's no validation that's going to occur because of the structure by a address or a node operator in North Korea or some other sanctioned wallet or address. There's no front running within the protocol because it's designed with a sequential transaction. So securities can be enabled like Swarm and Volfi to DeFi compliant DeFi protocols that are permissionless, but they can be done in a way that meets the regulatory standards of the securities market. And that's part of the benefit of having sort of a battle-tested environment.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is the HBAR Foundation's Chief Business Officer, Greg Bell, at the SALT conference, talking about how Hedera is uniquely positioned to tokenize the world. And actually, earlier in mid-July, we saw Hedera essentially be the distributed ledger to facilitate the UK's first use of digital assets. And that took place with Lloyds Banking Group, one of the largest banks here in the United Kingdom, Archax, and of course Aberdeen. Let's just quickly recap on this before we actually dive into an update that Lloyds Banking Group have given that show us just how far Hedera's impact could potentially reach. Lloyds Banking Group have released an update in regards to the use of digital assets, and we know they are already using Hedera Hashgraph, and how far they could see that going, and in fact, entirely revolutionizing the financial markets, certainly here in the United Kingdom. I'll also show you guys a link between Hedera Hashgraph and the UK Centre for Blockchain Technologies. Ripple and Hedera are the only two partners, and actually a lot of the board members of this organization that actually is involved with the UK government are ex-Hedera board members. So, let's quickly recap on what we saw out of Lloyds Banking Group, Aberdeen, and Archax, and how they leveraged Hedera. It says, Lloyds Banking Group, Aberdeen Investments, and Archax today announced a landmark collaboration of their trading business to advance the use of cutting-edge blockchain technology using tokenized real-world assets as collateral. It says, in a UK-first initiative, tokenized units of Aberdeen's Investment Money Market Fund, TMMF, and tokenized UK gilts were used as collateral for foreign exchange trades between Aberdeen and Lloyds. These digital asset tokens were issued, transferred, and securely held by Archax, a UK FCA-regulated digital asset exchange, on the Hedera Hashgraph public permissioned blockchain. To give you a glimpse of the size of this market, it goes on to say the UK trades 5.4 trillion in FX and interest rate derivatives daily, accounting for half of global activity. This trade demonstrates that regulated digital assets can serve as collateral in this market, which is a significant milestone. Digital assets can be programmed to automatically follow the rules of trading agreements, streamlining the managing process, reducing operational costs, enhancing collateral efficiencies, and minimizing counterparty risk. It goes on and says wider adoption of tokenized funds as collateral could also help reduce systemic risks during periods of market stress by enabling digital transfers instead of forced asset sales, thereby reducing volatility. This collaboration between two of the UK's largest financial institutions and a homegrown regulated fintech marks a major step forward in digital finance. The successful pilot lays the foundations for scaling tokenized collateral solutions, reinforcing the UK's leadership in the next generation of financial infrastructure. Now, this was given to us mid-July. Lloyds Banking Group have now given us an update in regards to the use of digital assets. And they say, by embracing digital assets, smart contracts, and DLT, we're not just improving existing processes, we're reimagining what's possible. And the link here is to Hedera Hashgraph. Now, I just want to pivot away from this. We're going to dive over to the UK Centre for Blockchain Technologies. And these guys are leading the blockchain revolution in the UK. At the UK CBT, our mission is to advance the nation's agenda for blockchain by bringing together universities, industry partners, and government stakeholders through research, education, and collaboration. We aim to accelerate the adoption of blockchain, empowering stakeholders, and position the UK as a global leader in blockchain technology. If we go to the About section, you can see the leadership team straight off the bat. About the leadership team, here we have the chairman of this organization, who, if we dive into his bio, he advised several companies, including Hedera Hashgraph. Maybe this is all just a coincidence. The individual here is who's the UK CBT director. In his bio, again, look at what we find here. He says he also represented UCL, University College of London. These are the guys that did that efficiency report on how sort of eco-friendly Hedera is. On the Hedera Governing Council. Very, very interesting. So there's clear links with kind of one of the main think tanks or organizations here in the UK and Hedera. And actually, if you look at their two partners, it is literally Ripple and Hedera. There's no other blockchains on this, just Ripple and Hedera. So back to this update that literally dropped a few days ago from Lloyds Banking Group and how they're really expanding the capabilities and possibilities of this technology. The beautiful thing here is how well positioned Hedera is within the United Kingdom and further afield. We already have some of our largest financial institutions working on this technology. That's the case really globally as far as Hedera is concerned due to its governing council. Let us read this. It says, unlocking the future of payments, digital assets at Lloyds Banking Group. By embracing digital assets, smart contracts and DLTs, we're not just improving existing processes, we're reimagining what's possible. It says, here at Lloyds Banking Group, we're constantly exploring how emerging technologies can unlock efficiencies, reduce risk, and create new opportunities for our clients and the broader financial ecosystem in general. We have talked about how blockchain technology can transform financial services for the better and make us faster, more resilient, and create a better experience for our customers. Another area related to blockchain where we're seeing momentum right now is in the use of digital assets and smart contracts to transform the future of payments. Below, we'll look at how tokenization and distributed ledger technology are reshaping the way we think about trading money or securities, how digital versions of these can serve as collateral, and who have they piloted that on already, and how these technologies can support operational efficiency. So what is collateral management? When two parties enter into a financial contract, such as one that protects against changing interest rates, they typically agree to exchange collateral, something valuable like cash or government bonds, e.g. UK gilts. This collateral acts like a safety deposit. If one party can't pay what they owe, the other can use the collateral to cover losses. As the value of the contract changes over time, depending on market movements, the amount of collateral is updated regularly. If the contract becomes riskier for one party, the other party must add collateral to keep things fair and secure. This helps both sides stay protected and reduces the risk of one party losing out if the other defaults. For example, a UK company must pay $1 million to a US supplier in 3 months' time. To protect against FX moves, it signs a derivatives contract to fix the exchange rate. Because both sides in the contract would worry about default, they agree a collateral agreement so that as the value of the contract moves, one party must post cash or assets as securities. This process is governed by collateral agreements and involves daily end-of-day valuations, potential disputes, and often 24 to 48-hour delays in settlement. It's this delay that creates additional credit exposure, which in turn requires banks to hold additional capital. So just quickly, guys, I ultimately believe distributed ledger technology is actually going to entirely cause an economic boom due to an unlocking capital that's actually locked in the system. Anyway, that's for another video. In markets, one of the most exciting developments we're working on is the use of smart contracts for collateral posting. With smart contracts and digital ledger technology, we can automate and accelerate this process. For example, instead of waiting until the end of day, we can choose to automatically settle collateral movements multiple times a day, every 6 hours, for instance. This reduces credit exposure, eliminates disputes through immutability, and should significantly lower the capital banks need to hold. Put simply, it's a game changer for the industry. It says pioneering the use of tokenized assets in derivatives trading. And this is what we've seen them literally do. And also the kind of collateral side of things also. So we recently partnered with Aberdeen Investment and Archax to complete a UK first in digital finance. Together, we've successfully used tokenized digital versions, real world assets as collateral for foreign exchange trades. These digital assets were used and securely held by Archax on the Hedera Hashgraph blockchain, demonstrating that regulated digital tokens can be used effectively in high-volume, real-world trading environments. This breakthrough not only streamlines margining process and reduces operational friction, but also enhances collateral efficiencies and minimizes counterparty risk too. It's a significant step forwards in proving how tokenization can support a more resilient and efficient financial system by collaborating with trusted UK institutions and leveraging regulated digital infrastructure such as Hedera. Remember, Greg Bell outlined all that. We're helping to lay the foundations for scalable, next-generational digital assets and reinforce the UK's position as a global leader in this space. Now, if they've done this once and they're talking about how revolutionary this is going to be, it's likely to suggest that they're going to do it multiple times. And we're likely, I believe, going to see billions of dollars just come from the United Kingdom in regards to being tokenized on Hedera. Certainly some of the large institutions are already trialing that. Let's explore what they have to say here. It says, going beyond collateral. Another exciting aspect is the potential to broaden the types of assets used as collateral. Today, most agreements are limited to cash or government bonds, but with tokenization, we can start to include a wider range of assets like tokenized money market funds, corporate bonds, or even property. This opens new sources of liquidity and makes the system more resilient. During the 2022 liabilities-driven instrument crisis, many pension funds faced severe liquidity stress as they were forced to sell gilts to meet collateral calls. This creates a self-reinforced cycle. Selling gilts pushes yields higher, which in turn triggers further collateral demand. If these funds had been able to post a broader range of assets as collateral, the pressure on the gilts market could have been reduced. Tokenization offers a pathway to make this possibility by enabling a wider set of assets to be mobilized quickly and securely as collateral. What are the regulatory considerations? At the time of writing, from a legal and regulatory standpoint, there are no blockers for using tokenized versions of real-world assets as collateral, and the UK government is working on classifying the law around digital native assets. But for the use case we're discussing at Lloyds Banking Group, the framework is largely in place. Further benefits, and this could be a signal of what's to come for Hedera, could come from the regulator updating capital rules to take account of the reduced credit exposure and therefore lowering the amount of capital that we need to hold as a bank, allowing this to be used for other lending. We believe the logic is sound, and we're optimistic that with continued dialogue and evidence, we'll see progress on this front. It says reimagining banking with AI. We don't need to go into that. Goes on to say a shared opportunity. What's exciting is that this isn't a zero-sum game. The industry as a whole, from banks and asset managers to clients and regulators, is set to benefit. We're not just talking about incremental improvements. We're talking about fundamental shifts in how collateral is managed and how capital is deployed. And it's not just theory. We're already in active conversations with clients and piloting these capabilities. The technology is here. The use cases are clear and the benefits are compelling. Now it's about scaling, standardizing, and working with regulators to unlock the full potential, building the future of payments. As we look ahead, we're excited about the role Lloyds Banking Group can play in shaping the future of payments and collateral management. By embracing digital assets, smart contracts, and DLTs, we're not just improving existing processes, we're reimagining what's possible, and we're doing it in a way that's collaborative, transparent, and focused on delivering real value for our clients and the broader financial system in general. Now, we know the world is moving in this direction. Everybody has said it. What they're doing in America, we're talking about the UK here, but what they're doing in America is essentially mobilizing everybody to facilitate this future. The President of the United States is saying something to the tune of, the financial system we have is archaic, outdated, and we're going to revolutionize it on the state-of-the-art cryptos. That's literally close enough to what he said. You've got what Paul Atkins is doing with the SEC and how they've launched Project Crypto to allow for security markets to come on chain. You've got what the Fed's saying in regards to Fed Waller and how they want to revolutionize payments. And of course, you've got Lloyds Banking Group, one of the largest banks here in the United Kingdom, signaling what's coming and how this is going to entirely change our financial system here in the United Kingdom. And they're already working on Hedera, or have even trialed things live on Hedera. This is pretty insane what Lloyds Banking Group is putting out. It's very obvious that this is the direction the world is moving towards. I'm very happy to see some of the early innovators actually do this on Hedera Hashgraph. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it from me. We just wanted to update you on what Lloyds Banking Group, who are currently working and doing things on Hedera, have recently said about the UK and the direction that's heading in. I'm going to love and leave you all on that note. Thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you all in the next one.